إنما هو التوحيد وتوحيد العبادة بالذات.
Finally, the last topic that we're going to look at in this first session on the Qur'an is the topic of the signs, right? The ayah. Right? Here there's a tremendous amount to say, and I'm just going to summarize it very briefly, point out a few things, and emphasize that all of this, all of the history, all the stories of the prophets, all of nature, everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created, everything that has existed, is existing now, and will exist, comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all of this are signs. All of this are signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just to highlight this, the term ayah, or its plural ayat, is used 382 times in the Qur'an. Right? I wasn't going to go through every verse, right? I mean, that would take forever. Allah knows best. But this emphasizes how important this term is. Right? And just getting all of the topics, everything that's mentioned as signs, right? Signs in history, signs in nature, right? All these things, signs in our own selves, and the way our bodies work, and I mean, just constantly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word signs for everything that exists. And of course, ayah is a verse of the Qur'an, a revelation, the qasas al-haq, the true stories that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed. Everything is a sign. Right? What does the word ayah mean? Right? There's a very good definition of it. I took this from Lane's lexicon. Some people might be familiar with the work done by 19th century Western scholar named Edward Lane, but he did a very good job in putting together an Arabic English dictionary. Right? And I took his definition, because it really gets the point across what the word ayah means. Right? The word in English, sign, has a similar meaning, right? But to get really across what these concepts are, you have to go back to the Arabic. You have to really understand what the Arabic terms are relating. Anyway, the definition is any apparent thing inseparable from a thing not equally apparent, so that when one perceives the former, he knows that he perceives the other, which he cannot perceive by itself, when the two things are of one predicament. And this is apparent in the object of sense and in that of the intellect. That's quite a definition. What does it mean? What does this mean? What is this ayah? I'm just going to briefly finish up here, for this first session. But this means that when we say, something happens in nature, it rains, the wind blows. We look at our own bodies and the way they function. You look up at the stars in the sky, and the moon, and the planets, and all these things. Alternation of night and day, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. These are all signs. Now, signs, this word ayah, meaning that what you perceive is linked to something that you cannot immediately perceive, but because the perceived thing, that which you can be aware of through the senses or through the intellect, what you are aware of indicates, makes known to you, that there is something unseen behind it, you might say, or connected to it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says He has created everything in this universe in pairs. There's always pairs of everything. A thing and its opposite always connected together. And everything that is seen, everything that is available to the senses is indicating there's something behind it. So, signs of the senses. And we do this all the time. This is the way our minds function. You see rain clouds gathering, dark clouds coming. It starts getting cooler and windier. Right? What does it tell you? Right? You're not perceiving the storm, but you see the signs that are coming. Right? And this is just in the realm of the senses. Right? We have expressions like where there's smoke, there's fire. Right? You see signs of something. Right? You're on a beach and you see footprints in the sand. Where do those footprints come from? Right? Did they just appear? Right? They're signs. They're telling you something happened here. You didn't see the person walking, but by looking at the footsteps, you have knowledge that, oh, somebody was walking here. Right? Now, what about the intellect? Because the definition of ayah is that this occurs also in the intellect. Right? And this is, you might say, the more difficult aspect. Right? And this is everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in the Qur'an. Right? In this case, about history. Right? We don't see the people of the past. Right? We see the ruins. We see archaeological evidence. We may find tombs with skeletons and treasures buried in, with the dead body. Right? What is that telling us? Right? That everything has, you might say, a hidden meaning to it. Everything has some existence. Right? Every sign, every event has its apparent element to it, and then it has something that's hidden behind it, something that is in the unseen realm. Right? And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to get us to understand. Right? That this whole world, the whole universe, right, and all that we know about it now, and modern science and physics and astronomy and biology and everything that we know about this world, right, it's still just, you might say, a thin veneer. It's still just a outward apparent object that is telling us there's something behind this. And the ultimate thing behind all of the ayah is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That there is a creator, there is a maker to all of this. Right? So just to finish up, all I did was list the surahs, right? 382 ayahs spread out across all of these different surahs. Right? From surahs 2 to 34, 36 to 46, 48, 51, 53 to 54, 57 to 58, 62, 64 to 65, 68, 74, 78 to 79, 83, and 90. All these surahs have at least one mention of the word ayah. Some of them have 3, 4, 5, a dozen times the word ayah. But spread throughout the Qur'an is this concept of the ayah. So, alhamdulillah, we will end this first session. Right? And as I had said, this is just the first session on topic 1 that we've completed, the Qur'an, and dealing with these major topics that we have discussed. Right? So, alhamdulillah, Allah has allowed us to complete this. And then the next session on this topic will be session 2, and we'll go into the Maghazi and the Sirah literature. All right, so alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, we'll end the session. This is the first session on the first topic. All right, so we looked at the Quran. And so I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on us and to bless us all. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst those who are of vision and insight, so that He allows us to use our intellect and to use our minds to understand His signs in history and in nature, and so that we will learn these lessons and use this to benefit us and to build our faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And all the good and benefit of the lecture comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me if I made any mistakes in what I've been saying. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.